Well, my shed greenhouse is nearing completion, and this is episode 11. Today I'm going to show you how I put the trim around the windows, and the windows are in permanently. And I actually switched things up and did the pergola and the deck before doing the door. The door will be in the next episode because, believe me, it needed an episode of its own. And I'll show you the final result in the next episode. But for today, we're going to focus on this little bit of a different design for the pergola and also adding a wooden deck underneath it. Now, you don't have to do a wooden deck the way that I did. You can certainly do it with pavers or any other material that you want. You don't even have to do a deck and a pergola at all, but I think you'll agree, especially when you see the finished product, that it really does complement the design so nicely, and I highly recommend it. So let's get to it. All right, spring has sprung here in New Jersey, and I am continuing to work on the greenhouse. Let me give you an update on... Yeah, that's still working on the door. It's just temporary. So what we have in here, first of all, you can hear installed an exhaust fan up here that is temperature controlled. You can see it says, hopefully you can see, it says 92 degrees. That's what it is up there. It blows the air into the shed, which has two vents on either end, so that hot air goes out naturally. And we have windows left open here, and you can also see that it was painted on the inside, and we've also run electric. So this is an outlet and a switch, and that switch works a light. We got this is an antique fixture that I found on Facebook Marketplace, so it kind of went with the vibe that my wife was looking for. Now, to paint the inside white, we removed all the windows, which, remember, were only put in temporarily for the fall, and then they were put back in with all the screws. All right, so these windows come with enough screws to put in every hole around the whole thing. And now I'm working on the trim. And what you can see is there's a board at the top, and then there's two boards on the side, pretty much just the same as I did with the shed. And then the window trim, I put a board across the bottom, and then these side boards cover over the edge of that board. Okay, so if water goes down that board, it'll keep going, in theory, anyway. And put one board across the top that is an inch longer on both sides, and that's just the same motif that we used on the shed. And you can see how nice that looks, right? Now, these boards are just these cut in half with a table saw. So they're about a little less than, I guess, 1 3/4 inches, because that would be perfectly in the center, minus the thickness of the blade. So they're about 1 3/4 inches. If you don't have a table saw, you can always get the 1.5 inch boards. They do come 1.5 inches wide. It just would be a little less coverage, that's all. But this way it just covers the screws, and I like to cut them a little bit snug so that I have to pound them into place. And of course, can't do it one-handed. But anyway, and they are just getting nailed in with my finish nailer. All right, here you can see the trim is all done, and it really does finish it up nicely, so I really recommend taking your time and doing this right. What I neglected to say before was that I put in these rails here first. These are the horizontal pieces, and the two of those went in first, and then I fit in the vertical pieces here. And of course, the spacing between the flanges. The flanges are bigger at the top and the bottom of the windows, so they really touch right here. So that's why you'll see there's no nail right here. There's a nail here because there is space between the two sides. So I could nail into the 2x4 that's back there, the stud in the wall. But I couldn't do it, I couldn't nail into the horizontal piece. So what I did is I just drove a nail here and there. And by the way, these are 2.5-inch galvanized finish nails in my nail gun. But if you don't have a nail gun, you can use regular nails, or you can use trim screws. And then for the end here, what I did is I used my brad nailer to just toe nail them in. And that way they're held, they're not going to move, they're not going to bow over time, and it's not structural, it's just trim, so that's fine. If you don't have a brad nailer and you don't want a toe nail, what you could do is drill a hole, just so that it makes a hole between the two frames, and then drive a trim screw in here. But like I said, take your time on the trim, because that really is the icing on the cake. So now I'm turning my attention to the pergola, and I started with the beam. This is a 2x6 beam, and in the earlier episodes my original design showed 2 beams on the pergola, but I realized that was overkill, so I reduced it to 1. And I use this motif where I make a radius and just cut it out with a jigsaw to make it nice and round. And I did that on a previous pergola that I built at my previous house, and we really liked it. And so I just used that same design, kind of like an homage to this, to my old house. But you could do any kind of a design you want on the ends of your pergolas. I'm sure you could, Google various different images. Now the other thing is I'm taking the rafters, which are 2x4s, and I'm notching the beam so that the rafters sit in place. And that way it's just easier to install, and it kind of looks like the wood is going through the beams. I use that same radius motif on the rafters, and just cut them the same way, just a smaller version of them. Now I'm working on the post here. The post is a 4x4, but of course they have very sharp edges when they come from the Home Depot. And I used a router to round over those edges and make them nice and soft, so that if you touch it, it's not going to feel harsh. I did a first coat of stain on all the parts for the pergola, and that way I only had to do a second coat once it was in place. Now here I'm notching the side of the post so that the beam of the pergola sits on the post. It's supported rather than just carrying the weight with the bolts alone. Now this is not really a structural pergola, so it really was overkill. I didn't have to do it that way. It's just the way that I chose to do it. And here you can see I didn't really plan exactly where the pergola was going to go. I put the parts in so that you could see the beam is tight against the trim on the shed, and that first rafter is tight against the trim on the greenhouse. And I kind of laid them all out from there. They are centered 12 inches on center. I bolted the beam to the post. And I also screwed each one of the rafters in with 2 screws at an angle from the top so you can't see them. Now to attach the rafters to the greenhouse, you saw me toe nailing them, at an angle into the plywood. So those angled screws came through, and that enabled me to see where they were, and then I could just put 2 additional screws in to hold them. Now this is just being held through the wall sheathing. It is not structural. You're not going to stand on top of this pergola. It's just decoration. The pergola is installed and I am working on the deck. And before I cover it, I just wanted to walk through it with you. And some will disagree with my method, but honestly, I did this because I consider this a movable structure, okay? All of this, the entire thing. You could take the greenhouse off and you could move both of them, the shed and the greenhouse. And this is being installed to be removable. So it's only 2x4s. It is not deep. There's no footings. I have one block in the corner over here because it is screwed into the greenhouse over here and it is screwed into the shed over there. And I had to notch the bottom of it because there was a block there. That's why that looks like that. And it's nice and level enough anyway. And before I cover it, I just wanted to show you how I did this. And these are 2x4s. They are 12-inch on center. I did put a runner down the middle, and they are all screwed into that. And it is packed with dirt underneath it. So that will provide, not only is it like blocking because it holds them all together, but it also absorbs, you know, any kind of bounce in the middle there. And I've walked across it and it's really solid. So now I'm going to be putting these 5/4 deck boards on it, which is the same thing that I used inside the greenhouse. And they're going to be getting stained the same as the pergola. This is all screwed together, by the way. So if my family wants to take it apart after I'm gone, they're all screwed together. So no nails here. Last minute addition, I just put a couple of blocks, just a little bit of blocking under here around the post, because the front board is going to fit completely, but the second one is going to be notched around the post, and so it needs some support. So that's why I did that. And they are not attached to the post. The deck can be affected by the freeze thaw because it's only on the surface. The post is buried about 18 inches, so it won't be as affected. So I didn't want to attach the two of those together. I placed the deck boards. You can see what it's going to look like. They're not screwed down yet. I'm going to let them dry a little bit. And they are all long. These are 10-footers. I'm going to cut them down, make them nice and even after I screw them all down. And you can see how I cut it around the post. I did that with a jigsaw. And I have one more board that will go back here. I'll have to rip it for that. After they shrink a little bit, I'm going to pull them close together, as close as I can, screw them down, and they will still shrink even more. But I may actually stain them ahead of time. I'm not sure. But this downspout has to be shortened, obviously. So I let these deck boards dry out in the sun for a few days, and then I ripped that last one against the greenhouse and put that in place and screwed them all down. And now I am cutting off the ends to make them all nice and even. And there is a bit of an overlap, just like there is on the front, so that it matches nicely. Now, of course, this cut edge is a sharp edge because I'm using my circular saw. So I went back with the router and my round over bit, and I just put a bit of an angle on it so that it kind of matches the front. It's nice and soft. So thanks for watching. That is it for this episode. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you in the next and final episode of this project. Hey there, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be the first to know when new videos are posted. Look for HandyDadTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and visit the website HandyDadTV for more great ideas and information.